You hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/inkdependence keeps this channel ad-free. Hello, folks. Welcome to Inkdependence. Today, I have some inks to try out for you. I've got 8 inks here. These are all inks that I just bought from Anderson Pens, and they got delivered very recently. And so I'm going to tear into this thing, and we're going to do some swatching and some checking out of these inks. I found some that I just kind of needed to have because I don't have enough ink, right? But that's part of the fun of fountain pens, is trying out new stuff. So I have here 4 inks from the Sailor States series that I didn't have already. And I completed my array of Anderillium inks because I have a lot of those from Anderillium, the company itself, but I didn't get all of them, and I want to try them all out because I've really been enjoying them. So we have here Sailor Ohio, we have Anderillium Common Loon Black, we have Sailor Arizona here, and then we have Anderillium American Goldfinch Yellow. Then we've got Sailor Maryland, Sailor Maine, Anderillium Green Kingfisher Green, and then Anderillium's Pompadour Cotinga Burgundy? I don't know what a Cotinga is. That's a new animal. Okay, to swatch these, I'm going to start using this here Waringal Impression notebook, which is made for ink samples. And I'm going to be using my Inkapet Sleepy Cat here to hold my ink vials so that they don't tip over while I'm doing it. And I'm going to try out this little spatula thing. So a lot of new stuff going on here. This is a lab spatula that I bought from the Amazons. I'll put a link down in the description, a little affiliate link there in case you'd like to get some. It was like 5 or 6 of them for $4 or $5, and they should be really good for ink samples, because they have a nice flat bottom for which I can just like spread the ink around. And also, if I need to, I can kind of scoop up the ink instead of just relying on it sticking to the metal of the thing like I do when I use a letter opener. So we'll see if this is an improvement. I'm not really sure it will be, but you never know. And it was worth the cost of admission to give it a try. So let's get in here. I'm going to be using this nifty little glass pen that I got years ago from Sugar Inks. I forget what the name of this one is, but I'll put another link for this down in the description as well. It's a really nice little glass pen. All right, let's go ahead and do the Anderilliums first. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to start with alphabetical order, and we're going to start with Anderillium American Goldfinch Yellow and sort of move through the rest of the set. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward all of this, so enjoy a little bit of jaunty music, likely, and watching ink get spread around while we do this, and then we'll talk about them. All right, these have all dried now. We can take a look at them individually. Up there at the top, Anderillium Goldfinch, which did dry fairly readable. I really like this color in the swatch, but if this is what it's going to look like out of a pen, I'm kind of worried about its readability. It's actually a little bit lighter in person than it is on the camera. I think the camera is really working to make that Goldfinch more readable than it is. It is a pretty pale yellow. We have Anderillium's Common Loon, which I'm not really sure if that qualifies as a black, if I'm 100% honest. Is it supposed to be a black? I think it is. Yeah, it says black, but really that's more like a dark gray in the writing sample, and then just a kind of a nice slate gray up there at the top. Cool color, but I don't think I would call that black. Anderillium's Green Kingfisher. Now that's a really nice color. It's a little bit more foresty in real life than it is coming out here on the camera, where it's kind of picking up more of those sort of brighter piney green tones. Then we have down here Anderillium's Pompadour Cotinga, which is actually a really beautiful burgundy. Very much on the red side of burgundy instead of being the darker purpler side of burgundy, I think. Plus a little bit of very nice sheen there. Yeah, I like that. That's going to be a good one. Sailor Arizona, that is a cool looking color. It's actually a little bit more peach, I think, in real life than it's coming out on my camera. But that's just the way of cameras sometimes. A little bit more peach, but definitely still has a lot of that orange pop there that looks really attractive. Sailor Maine, which is where one of my best friends hails from. Really cool kind of stony grayish brownish color. color, so you get a lot of gray up here, but where there was more ink, you definitely get a lot of brown. And then in the writing bit here with my glass pen, which of course is not exactly going to be the same as it will be out of a fountain pen, still fairly decent representation. I think it's going to look like a very nice brownish gray. That's looking pretty cool. Then Sailor Maryland, where one of my favorite people lives, is a really beautiful kind of yellow leaning brown. I would say this is a fairly warm brown. And yeah, that looks pretty darn cool. Little hints of a redder undertone there as well. And then lastly, Sailor Ohio, the thing that kicked off this here order, was the great state where my wife is from. And this is a really nice looking buckeye color going on here. Kind of a warm reddish leaning brown there from Sailor Ohio. Much darker from the glass dip pen, but again, I think more ink was coming off there. Perhaps than you would get from a fountain pen. So yeah, looking really cool. This is an interesting set of inks that I got here. I'm a little disappointed in Goldfinch. I have a suspicion that this is not going to be very readable as a writing ink, but it might be great for art or something like that for those of you who do that kind of thing. So do check these inks out at Anderson Pens, is where I bought them, and you can too. Each of the Sailor samples were these $5 a piece. Not a cheap sample. However, they are 3 mils, and the bottle itself is pretty small. It's like 20 or 25. I forget, but fairly expensive even as a sample, really, but way less than a full bottle. And then Anderilliums were $2.50 a piece, which is pretty darn low. Their inks are a lot cheaper than your Sailor limited editions will be. So check out these inks there, and I have really been impressed with all of the Anderillium inks that I've used so far. Goldfinch perhaps aside, but the rest of them have been really excellent. I think I've used or have in my collection all of the Anderillium inks currently. So pretty darn cool. And of course, these 50 states are very neat. I think the standouts here for me really are kind of down in here. These are really cool looking inks. So until next time, think about what you put out in the world, make it a better place, and peace out.